Welcome to Friday Night Ghost Frights. This is Haunted Road Media, and I'm your host, author and ghost historian Mike Ricksecker. Do your favorite ghost stories require a bit of madness? Is it only former places of human depravity that frighten you? That's what you get at the former Weston State Hospital, better known today as the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum. Some may not believe the things I'm about to describe, but I assure you that everything I'm about to tell you is absolutely true. It is up to you, dear viewer, as to whether you believe me or not. My experience at the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum took place in 2011 as part of a book signing that my friend Copperhead Greg Graham set up for me. It's a large, ominous building, and just when you first walk into it, you feel a bit overwhelmed from the sheer size of it. While it's known for its dark history, after I got done setting up, I took some time to admire the museum objects that are there, relics from the past of a bygone era. Copperhead also gave me a short daytime tour, taking me to a couple of the hot spots on the lower level, where we heard whispers down the hallways and saw shadows rounding the corners. The book signing stretched throughout the day, with the historical tours during the daytime and the ghost tours starting at nighttime. What I found really interesting just from sitting there in the entrance hall was all the different things I could see and hear and witness just right there. There were phantom footsteps that walked down the hall, one time in which I heard one of the doors to the wards open. Walked over, took a look, opened the doors, looked down the halls. There's not a soul in sight. Just after that instance, I walked back to where I was set up and I had to pass by the restrooms. And in that moment, the door to the men's restroom opened on its own. That was just a precursor of things to come until we got to the all-night ghost hunt that lasted until almost 6 in the morning. It got to that point in time where I packed up my books, tore down my displays, took everything out to the car, took off my author hat, got out my ghost hunting equipment, put on my paranormal investigator hat, and we walked into the haunted Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum to investigate the paranormal.
You don't have to do that. I told you, if you don't want me in here, just light up that green light. I'm not in here to hurt you, I just came in to visit.
I worked with Copperhead's group that night and got to witness him using his divining rods, which I was pretty impressed by the activity that he was picking up. I had some EMF detectors, K2 meters and the like. I was getting some interesting hits with those devices. I also showed him how I introduced myself to spirits, how I hold up my hand in a formal handshake. And in one of the rooms in which I did this, we felt the energy within that room get denser, and we actually felt a presence come into the room and start to interact with us a little bit. A few moments later, we felt that energy exit and we heard footsteps go down the hallway. At one point, we set up in the room where Lily is said to frequent. Lily is a little girl that unfortunately is trapped within the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum. Copperhead set up a number of different flashlights and we started asking a number of questions.
You like the red light? That's cool. I notice you tend to go to the red lights, don't you? That's my purple one again. Lily, are you the only one in here tonight? If you're the only one in here tonight, please turn both of them. Shit. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, Lily, the red light. If you're the only one in here, shut the red light off.
Throughout the night as we explored the wards, we heard a number of different noises coming from the plethora of wards. Sometimes it was a plastic sound that was getting kicked, different knocks. We saw shadow figures moving about and whispers heard down the hallways. We spent some time debunking photographs that people had taken. Not everything that we were witnessing was paranormal, but there was plenty of activity going on that night. It was at the very end where our investigating would be rewarded, from a certain point of view. We were up in one of the wards where it said a spirit named Frank lurks. Most of the group went straight down the hall, while Copperhead and I went into a room off to the right where there's a number of trigger objects that are already stationed there, some different balls. One in particular is a light-up ball. Keep that in mind. We were in the center of the room, setting up our devices, K2 meter, different electronic objects. Copperhead was setting up his flashlights. And all of a sudden, that light up ball that was on the same wall as the door that we had just entered started moving toward the door, made a left out the door, made a right down the hall, and started bounding down the hall, lighting up as it went. Well, the group down the hall exclaimed and shouted that we were throwing the ball at them. They were wondering what was going on. Of course, we hadn't thrown it. We had witnessed it roll and bounce out. It was fantastic. Unfortunately, we didn't have time to capture that on video or take a picture of it or anything like that. All we have are our witness accounts. And being the best moment of paranormal activity that we had that night, we all gathered in that room asking for the spirit of Frank to do it again. But that was to be his one flourish for the evening. What lurks in the bowels of an old hospital where tragedy was rampant? What still lingers suffering in pain and misery from a life that has passed? Thank you for watching Friday Night Ghost Frights. Please let me know what you think of this episode in the comments below. And if you have not yet, please subscribe. I'm Mike Ricksecker. Until next Friday night.